Welcome, my dear learners. Today, we are going to do something simple, powerful, and life-changing. We are not going to study difficult grammar. We are not going to memorize long vocabulary lists. We are going to speak about your real morning. Yes, your own morning. Because fluency does not begin in books. It begins in daily life. By the end of this lesson, you will speak about your morning clearly, confidently, and naturally. So take a deep breath, believe in yourself, and let us begin this beautiful journey together. Chapter 1: Why Mornings Matter. Let me ask you something very simple, yet very powerful. What did you do this morning? You woke up. You opened your eyes. Maybe you checked your phone. Maybe you felt sleepy. Maybe you felt fresh and ready for the day. You brushed your teeth. You washed your face. You had breakfast. You got ready for work or school. You stepped outside. Now pause for a moment and think carefully. Do you realize how much English is already hidden inside your morning? Your morning is not just a time of the day, it is a complete English lesson waiting for you, and you do not even need a textbook to begin. Mornings matter because they are universal. It does not matter if you live in the United States, Europe, India, South Korea, or anywhere else in the world, every human being wakes up. Every human being starts a new day. Your culture may be different, your food may be different, your weather may be different, but your morning exists just like everyone else's. This is why talking about your morning is one of the safest and strongest ways to begin speaking English. When you speak about your morning, you are speaking about something real, something personal, something you understand completely. There is no fear in that, because it is your life. Many English learners think fluency means using difficult vocabulary or long, complicated sentences. That is not true. Fluency begins with small, clear sentences that you repeat every day. When you say, "I wake up at 6," you are already practicing grammar. When you say, "I brush my teeth and take a shower," you are using verbs naturally. When you say, "I have breakfast before work," you are forming correct structure without even thinking too much about it. This is how automatic English develops. It grows quietly, just like a plant grows every morning when the sun rises. Let me explain something very important. Fluency grows from repetition, not perfection. Many learners stay silent because they want to speak perfectly. They wait for the right time. They wait for more vocabulary. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, readiness comes after speaking, not before it. When you talk about your daily routine again and again, your brain begins to relax. It recognizes the patterns. It understands the structure. Slowly, you stop translating in your head, and you start thinking directly in English. That is the moment when confidence begins to appear. Your morning contains natural vocabulary. These are not advanced words, these are daily words. Wake up, alarm, brush, shower, breakfast, tea, coffee, bus, office, school. These words are simple, yet they are powerful because they are used every single day. When you master these basic expressions, you build a strong foundation, and once the foundation is strong, the building of fluency becomes easy. Now, I want you to warm up your mind gently. Do not worry about grammar. Do not worry about mistakes. Just think honestly about these 5 questions. What time do you usually wake up? How do you feel when you wake up? What is the first thing you do after leaving your bed? What do you usually eat or drink in the morning? Do you enjoy your mornings, or do you feel rushed? Take a few seconds. Think quietly. You already know the answers. The ideas are already in your mind. You just need to express them in simple English. Now let us begin a very small speaking exercise. It is simple, but it is powerful. Start your sentence like this. This morning I woke up at 7. This morning I woke up at 7. This morning I felt tired. This morning I made tea. This morning I checked my phone. This morning I left home early. Do you see how easy this is? You are not writing an essay. You are not giving a speech to a large audience. You are simply describing your life, and because it is your life, you cannot be wrong about the content. Maybe your grammar is not perfect yet, but your story is true. That truth gives you strength. Now listen carefully as I model some simple sentences slowly. You can repeat after me. I wake up at 6. I feel sleepy in the morning. I brush my teeth and wash my face. I take a shower before breakfast. I usually drink coffee. I leave my house at 8. Notice the rhythm. Notice how the sentences are not complicated, yet they sound natural. This is the secret. Small sentences build big confidence. When you speak short and clear sentences regularly, your mouth becomes comfortable with English sounds. Your tongue learns the movement. Your ears learn the rhythm. And gradually, speaking stops feeling foreign. Some learners say, "My morning is boring. I have nothing special to say." That is a misunderstanding. Fluency does not require excitement. It requires consistency. Even if your morning is simple, it is perfect for practice. In fact, simple routines are better because they repeat every day. When something repeats daily, your English practice also repeats daily. And when practice repeats daily, improvement becomes natural. I want you to understand something deeply. When you talk about your morning, you are not just describing actions, you are training your brain. You are teaching your mind to connect thought and language without fear. You are building a habit, and habits create mastery. One small sentence today, one small sentence tomorrow, and suddenly, after a few weeks, you realize that speaking no longer feels impossible. At the end of this lesson, I want you to feel something very clear in your heart. I can talk about this. This is my life. I know these words. You do not need advanced grammar to begin. You need courage to start. And the best place to start is always your own morning, because it belongs to you. From today, your morning is no longer just the beginning of your day. It is the beginning of your English fluency journey. Chapter 2. Waking up. Now we move to the very first moment of your day, waking up. This is the beginning of everything. Before you speak to anyone, before you check your messages, before you drink water or coffee, there is a quiet moment when you open your eyes. That moment may feel small, but in English learning, it is very powerful. If you can describe how you wake up, you can begin your day with structured confidence. Let us start very simply. In English, we usually talk about daily habits in the simple present tense. This tense is used for routines, things that happen again and again. When you say, "I wake up at 6," you are using the simple present. It is clear, it is strong, it is correct. You do not need to add complicated grammar, just a subject and a verb. Say it slowly with me. I wake up at 6. Now let us add a little detail. We can use time expressions like at 6 a.m., early, late, or usually. These words give more information, and they make your sentence sound natural. I usually wake up at 6 a.m. I wake up early on weekdays. I wake up late on Sundays. Notice how these sentences are still simple, yet they sound complete. When you add usually, you are talking about a habit. When you say early or late, you are giving feeling and time together. These small additions make a big difference. Now let us talk about vocabulary. When you wake up, there is often an alarm. Maybe your phone makes a loud noise. Maybe you use a traditional alarm clock. When the alarm rings, you may feel tired or sleepy. Some days, you feel refreshed and ready to start. Other days, you want to stay under your blanket and close your eyes again. All of this is real life, and all of it can be expressed in English. Listen to these examples carefully. My alarm rings at 6 a.m. I turn off my phone and sit up in my bed. I feel sleepy, but I try to wake up. Sometimes sunlight comes through my window. Sometimes I hear noise from outside. These are natural sentences. They are not advanced, but they are meaningful. When you describe your real experience, your English becomes alive. Now let us move step by step through sentence building levels. Level 1 is very basic and very important. I wake up at 6. This is short and strong. It gives one clear idea. Level 2 adds frequency or detail. I usually wake up at 6 in the morning. Now your sentence sounds more natural because it shows habit. Level 3 adds a reason. I usually wake up at 6 in the morning because I have work. When you add because, your English becomes deeper. You are not only telling what happens, you are explaining why it happens. That is how fluency grows, layer by layer. Now let us also practice speaking about yesterday morning. For yesterday, we use the past tense. Yesterday I woke up at 7. My alarm rang late. I felt very tired. I stayed in bed for 10 minutes. Notice the change. Wake becomes woke, and ring becomes rang. These are small changes, but they are important. When you practice them slowly, they become natural. Now I want you to repeat some sentences after me, slowly and clearly. I wake up at 6 a.m. My alarm rings loudly. I feel sleepy in the morning. Yesterday I woke up late. I stretched my arms and got out of bed. Take your time. Do not rush. Good speaking is calm speaking. Now let us try fill-in speaking prompts. I will give you the beginning, and you complete it with your own idea. I usually wake up at 6. My alarm is sticks. When I wake up, I feel sticks. Yesterday morning, I woke up at 6. I stay in bed for 10 minutes. Pause the video. Think. Speak your answers out loud. Do not whisper. Do not speak inside your head. Real fluency begins when your mouth moves. Now we will personalize your routine. Say a small paragraph about your real wake-up moment. It can be simple. For example, I usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning. My phone alarm rings, and I turn it off quickly. I feel a little sleepy, but I stretch my arms and sit up in my bed. Sometimes I see sunlight through my window, and it makes me feel calm. That is not difficult English. It is honest English. And honest English is powerful. Let me remind you of something very important. Many learners are afraid to speak because they think their sentences are too basic. But basic sentences are the foundation of all advanced speaking. If your foundation is clear, your future growth will be smooth. If you skip the foundation, you will always feel unsure. So now I want you to do something serious. Pause this lesson for 1 full minute. Close your eyes and imagine your real morning. Hear your alarm. Feel your blanket. Notice the sunlight or the noise. Then open your eyes and speak your wake-up routine in 4 or 5 sentences. Speak slowly, speak clearly, speak confidently. When you can describe your wake-up moment without fear, you gain structured confidence. You know how to use simple present for habits. You know how to use past tense for yesterday. You know how to use time expressions like at 6 a.m., early, and usually. That is not small progress. That is real growth. Waking up is not just the start of your day, it is the start of your English expression. And when you can describe the first minutes of your morning clearly, you are already on the path to fluency. Chapter 3. Bathroom Routine. Now we move to the next important part of your morning, your bathroom routine. This part may seem very simple, but it is one of the best places to learn how to organize actions clearly in English. When you describe your bathroom routine, you naturally use action verbs, and you also learn how to connect your ideas in order. Order is very important in speaking. If your actions are clear and organized, your English sounds confident and natural. In English, we often use sequence words to show order. These words help the listener understand what happens first and what happens next. The most common sequence words are first, then, after that, and finally. They are small words, but they create structure. When you use them correctly, your speech becomes smooth and easy to follow. Let us begin with a simple framework. First, I brush my teeth. Then, I wash my face. After that, I take a shower. Finally, I get dressed. Notice how clear this sounds. The listener can easily imagine your routine because you are guiding them step by step. This is how organized English works. Now let us talk about vocabulary. In the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you take a shower. Some people comb their hair, some men shave. After your shower, you get dressed and choose your clothes. These verbs are very common, and they are used every day around the world. It does not matter if you live in America, India, Europe, or South Korea. The routine may be slightly different, but the actions are very similar. Let us practice using the present simple tense because we are talking about habits. I brush my teeth every morning. I wash my face with cold water. I take a shower before breakfast. I usually comb my hair quickly. I get dressed for work. These sentences are short and clear. They describe regular habits. When you repeat them daily, your brain starts to remember the structure automatically. Now let us combine actions into longer sentences, because natural English often connects ideas. First, I brush my teeth, and then I wash my face. After that, I take a shower, because I want to feel fresh. Finally, I get dressed and choose my clothes carefully. Do you see how we added and because to make the sentences richer? This makes your speaking sound more natural and less robotic. Simple sentences are good, but connected sentences show growth. Now let us talk about polite cultural expressions, which are important for a global audience. In many cultures, personal hygiene is connected to respect. You can say, I like to look clean and neat, because it shows respect for others. This sentence is not only about routine, it also shows awareness and politeness. When you speak English internationally, small expressions of respect are very powerful. Now we will practice pronunciation slowly. Repeat after me and pay attention to the rhythm. First, I brush my teeth. Then, I wash my face. After that, I take a shower. Finally, I get dressed. Now say it again, a little faster but still clear. First, I brush my teeth. Then, I wash my face. After that, I take a shower. Finally, I get dressed. Good. Notice how the words flow together smoothly when you speak naturally. Now let us try a rearranging exercise. I will give you mixed sentences, and you organize them in the correct order. I get dressed. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I wash my face. Think about the natural order. Most people would say, first, I brush my teeth. Then, I wash my face. After that, I take a shower. Finally, I get dressed. Of course, your routine may be slightly different, and that is perfectly fine. English is flexible because your life is flexible. Now let us move to personal variation practice. Speak about your real bathroom routine in 4 or 5 sentences. For example, first, I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. Then, I wash my face with warm water. After that, I take a quick shower because I do not have much time. Finally, I get dressed and choose simple clothes for the day. Pause the lesson and say your own version. Do not copy my sentences. Use your real life. If you do something differently, say it confidently. You might say, first, I check my phone for a few minutes. Then, I brush my teeth and wash my face. After that, I take a long shower because I enjoy warm water. Finally, I get dressed slowly and choose my clothes carefully. That is excellent practice. When you speak about your real actions, your English becomes personal, and personal English is easier to remember. Let me remind you of something important. Organization creates confidence. When you use sequence words correctly, your ideas are clear. When your ideas are clear, your listener understands you. And when your listener understands you, your confidence grows naturally. So today you learned more than vocabulary. You learned structure. You learned how to guide someone through your actions step by step. This skill will help you not only in daily conversation, but also in storytelling, presentations, and professional communication. Keep practicing your bathroom routine aloud every morning. It takes only 1 minute, but it builds strong speaking habits. And when your habits become strong, your fluency becomes natural. Chapter 4: Breakfast Talk. Now we come to one of the most enjoyable parts of the morning: breakfast. Food is not only necessary for the body, but it is also a beautiful topic for conversation. When you talk about breakfast, your English becomes warm and natural because everyone eats, and everyone has preferences. This is where vocabulary grows easily, and where you learn to describe things with feeling. Let us begin with something simple. Many learners say, I eat eggs. This sentence is correct, but it is very basic. Now listen carefully to a richer version. I usually have eggs and tea for breakfast because it gives me energy. Do you see the difference? The second sentence is longer, more descriptive, and more natural. It tells us what you eat, what you drink, and why you eat it. That is expressive expansion. We do not remove simplicity, but we add detail. Now let us focus on grammar. When we talk about food, we often use there is and there are. These structures help us describe what is on the table. There is a cup of tea on the table. There is some bread and butter. There are 2 eggs on my plate. There are many fruits in the kitchen. Notice something important. We say there is for singular nouns and uncountable nouns, and we say there are for plural countable nouns. Bread and rice are uncountable, so we say there is some bread, there is some rice. Eggs and fruits are countable, so we say there are eggs, there are apples. Now let us look at I have and I eat. In English, both can be used, but I have breakfast sounds more natural in daily conversation. I have coffee in the morning. I have a light breakfast. I eat fruit when I want something healthy. Healthy and light are descriptive words. They make your sentence more colorful. When you say, I have a healthy breakfast, you are not just talking about food, you are talking about lifestyle. Breakfast is different in different countries, and this makes our discussion even more interesting. In the United States, many people have eggs, toast, cereal, or pancakes. In Europe, breakfast can be simple, such as bread, cheese, and coffee. In India, breakfast might include rice dishes, paratha, or tea with spices. In Korea, breakfast can include rice, soup, and vegetables. These differences show culture, and when you talk about them in English, your conversation becomes meaningful. Now let me give you 10 ready-made breakfast sentences. Repeat them slowly and feel the rhythm. I usually have tea in the morning. There is fresh bread on the table. There are 2 eggs on my plate. I prefer coffee because it wakes me up. I have a light breakfast on weekdays. There is some fruit in my bowl. I eat cereal when I am in a hurry. There are many healthy options for breakfast. I like to drink juice with my meal. Breakfast gives me energy for the day. Read them again, speak them clearly. Notice how simple words can create natural conversation. Now let us move to a question and answer format, which helps you think and respond quickly. What do you usually have for breakfast? I usually have tea and bread. Is there coffee at home? Yes, there is coffee at home. Are there eggs in the fridge? Yes, there are eggs in the fridge. Do you prefer a heavy or light breakfast? I prefer a light breakfast because it makes me feel comfortable. This type of practice builds speaking speed. When you answer quickly, you train your brain to respond without fear. Now I want to challenge you with a personal speaking task. Pause for a moment and think about your real breakfast today. Then speak 5 sentences about it. For example, there is a cup of tea on my table. There are 2 slices of bread. I usually have a light breakfast because I do not like heavy food in the morning. I sometimes eat fruit, and I always drink water. Breakfast makes me feel ready for work. Notice how the sentences are connected naturally. They are not complicated, but they sound complete. Remember something very important. Food vocabulary is part of daily English. When you master this topic, you can talk comfortably in many situations. You can talk at a restaurant, at home, at work, or with friends. Food is universal, and it creates easy conversation. Do not worry about speaking perfectly. Focus on speaking clearly. Add small descriptive words. Use there is and there are correctly. Choose I have instead of only I eat. Slowly, your sentences will grow longer, and your confidence will grow with them. Breakfast is not only a meal, it is a chance to practice English every single day. When you sit at the table tomorrow morning, look at your food and describe it in English. Say what there is, say what there are, and explain why you like it. That is how natural fluency begins. Chapter 5. Getting Ready. Now we move to an important stage of your morning, getting ready. This is the moment when your day becomes serious. You are no longer just waking up or having breakfast. Now you are preparing for responsibility. You are preparing for office, for school, for a meeting, or for class. This part of the morning teaches you how to speak about purpose. When you talk about purpose clearly, Your English becomes stronger and more mature. Let us begin with a simple sentence. I get ready for work. This sentence is clear. It tells us what you do. But now, let us add purpose. I get ready for work because I have a meeting. When you add because, your sentence becomes meaningful. You are not only describing an action, you are explaining the reason behind it. Reason makes language powerful. Now let us expand further. I get ready early so that I am not late. The words "so that" show intention. They show that you are thinking about the result of your action. You wake up early. You prepare early. You leave early. Why? So that you are not late. This is future orientation. It shows planning. Now let us focus on grammar. We use I have to when something is necessary. I have to go to the office. I have to attend class. I have to prepare for a meeting. These sentences show obligation. They are simple but strong. When you say I have to, it means it is important. Now let us look at I am going to. This structure talks about future plans. I am going to take the bus. I am going to drive to work. I am going to walk to school. Notice how natural this sounds. You are describing your plan for the next few hours. This makes your English active and realistic. Now let us connect ideas smoothly. I have to go to the office because I have an important meeting. I am going to take the train so that I arrive on time. I prepare my bag early because I do not want to forget anything. These sentences are not complicated, but they are complete. They show action, reason, and intention together. Let us talk about vocabulary. You may go to the office. You may go to school. You may attend a class. Some people drive. Some people take the bus or train. Some people walk. All of these words describe daily life, and daily life is the best classroom for English learning. Now I want you to notice something very important. Clarity is more important than complexity. Many learners try to use difficult words, but they forget to speak clearly. Clear sentences are powerful sentences. If your listener understands you easily, you are already successful. Now let us practice with personal planning statements. Repeat after me slowly. I am going to the office today. I have to attend an important meeting. I am going to take the bus. I prepare my clothes so that I look professional. I leave early because traffic is heavy. Say them again with confidence. Feel the structure in your mouth. Now it is your turn. I will give you real-time speaking prompts. Complete them with your own ideas. Today, I am going to Nek Sen. I have to Nek Sen. Because Nekneks. I get ready early so that Nekneks. I am going to take the Nek Sen. I prepare Nekneks before I leave. Pause and speak your answers aloud. This is not silent practice. Your voice must be heard. When you speak loudly and clearly, your confidence grows naturally. Now let us create a short paragraph together. I get ready for work every morning. I have to attend meetings, so I prepare carefully. I am going to take the train because it is faster than driving. I leave my house early, so that I am not late. Getting ready is important because it helps me feel organized and confident. Notice how simple the language is, yet it sounds natural and complete. Now let us build a fluency loop. Repeat this small structure 3 times with different ideas. I have to go to school because I have class. I have to go to the office because I have work. I have to prepare early because I want to be ready. Again, I am going to walk to school. I am going to drive to work. I am going to take the bus today. Repetition creates automatic speaking. When you repeat patterns, your brain remembers them without effort. Remember, getting ready is not only about clothes and bags. It is about mental preparation. When you speak about your responsibilities clearly, you feel stronger. You are not confused. You know what you are going to do. You know why you are doing it. Tomorrow morning, when you prepare for your day, describe it in English. Say what you have to do. Say what you are going to do. Say why you are doing it. This simple daily practice will improve your fluency faster than you imagine. When you can express your morning responsibilities clearly, you move one step closer to confident English communication. Chapter 6. Commuting. Now we arrive at a very real and practical part of the morning: commuting. After you wake up, get ready, and have breakfast, you leave your home. You step outside, and the world begins to move around you. Some people walk quietly through peaceful streets. Some people stand at a busy bus stop. Some people drive in heavy traffic. This is daily life, and it is a powerful opportunity to build situational fluency in English. When we talk about commuting, we usually use the present simple tense because we are describing habits. I usually take the bus. I drive to the office. I walk to school every morning. These sentences are simple, but they are strong. They show regular action. Now let us add adverbs like usually, sometimes, and always. These words make your sentences more expressive. I usually take the bus. The bus is sometimes crowded. I always leave home at 8. Notice how natural this sounds. You are not just giving information. You are showing frequency. You are showing pattern. That is how daily English works. Now let us expand your vocabulary. When you wait for the bus, you stand at a bus stop. When you take a train, you go to the station. In big cities, traffic can be heavy and noisy. In small towns or rural areas, mornings can be quiet and peaceful. These descriptive words help you create a picture in the listener's mind. Listen carefully to these expressive examples. I usually take the bus because it is convenient. The bus is sometimes crowded, but I do not mind. I enjoy walking in the morning because it feels peaceful. The traffic is always heavy near my office. The train station is busy in the morning. These sentences combine simple grammar with descriptive language. That combination creates natural fluency. Now let us think about global relevance. In large cities like New York, London, Seoul, or Mumbai, public transport is common. People take buses, trains, and subways. The streets can be crowded and noisy. In rural areas, people may drive cars or walk long distances. The mornings may feel calm and fresh. Your commute depends on where you live, and that makes your story unique. Now I want you to compare yesterday with today. This helps you practice both present and past naturally. Yesterday, I drove to work because it was raining. Today, I am taking the bus because the weather is better. Yesterday, the traffic was heavy. Today, the roads are clear and peaceful. Do you see how the comparison adds depth to your speaking? You are not repeating the same sentence. You are explaining change. Now let us talk about feelings. Speaking is not only about action, it is also about emotion. I feel relaxed when I walk to school. I feel stressed when traffic is heavy. I enjoy listening to music while I drive. Sometimes I feel tired on the train, but I try to stay positive. When you express feelings, your English becomes human. It becomes real. Now let us do a small practice together. Repeat slowly after me. I usually leave my house at 8. I walk to the bus stop. The bus is sometimes crowded. I arrive at the station at 9. I enjoy the quiet morning air. Now say them again at a natural speed. Good. Notice how the sentences flow when you speak with rhythm. Now I want you to try a mini monologue exercise. Speak for 30 seconds about your commute. You can use this structure. I usually leave Meki to Pakien. The traffic is neck-necks. The bus or train is neck-necks. I feel neck-neck during my commute. Yesterday it was neck-necks, but today it is neck-necks. Pause and speak. Do not worry about mistakes. Focus on clarity. For example, you might say, I usually take the bus to the office. The traffic is sometimes heavy, and the bus can be crowded. I listen to music so that I feel calm. Yesterday, the roads were noisy and busy, but today the morning feels peaceful and fresh. That is strong, confident speaking. It is not complicated, but it is organized and expressive. Remember something very important. Daily movement is a universal experience. Whether you live in a large city or a small village, you travel from one place to another. When you can describe that movement clearly, you build situational fluency. You learn how to talk about places, transportation, feelings, and changes. Tomorrow morning, when you leave your house, observe carefully. Notice the traffic. Notice the noise or the silence. Notice how you feel. Then describe it in English. Even if you speak for 1 minute, you are training your mind and your tongue. Commuting is not just a journey from home to work. It is a daily opportunity to strengthen your English voice. Chapter 7. Morning Feelings. Now we move to something deeper and more powerful than actions. We move to feelings. You can describe what you do every morning, and that is good. But when you describe how you feel, your English becomes alive. Language is not only about actions, it is about emotions, reactions, and inner thoughts. When you say what you feel, you connect with people. You stop sounding mechanical, and you begin sounding human. Let us start with the most important structure. I feel. I feel tired. I feel happy. I feel stressed. I feel calm. This is simple English, but it carries emotion. The verb feel is very important because it connects your heart with your words. Now let us expand the sentence. I feel tired because I slept late. I feel stressed because I have an important meeting. I feel motivated because today is a new opportunity. When you add because, you explain your reason. Your speech becomes meaningful. You are not just giving information, you are sharing experience. Now let us go one step further. Even though I feel tired, I try to stay positive. Even though I feel nervous, I prepare carefully. Even though the morning is busy, I remain calm. This structure shows maturity. You accept your feelings, but you also show strength. That is emotional intelligence. Let us look at some useful adjectives. Motivated means you are ready and excited to do something. Stressed means you feel pressure. Relaxed means you feel peaceful and comfortable. Energetic means you have power and strength. Nervous means you feel worried. Calm means you are quiet and peaceful inside. Now listen carefully to these 10 emotion sentences. I feel energetic when I wake up early. I feel relaxed after a warm shower. I feel stressed when I am late. I feel calm when I drink tea quietly. I feel nervous before an important meeting. I feel motivated at the start of a new week. I feel tired if I sleep late. I feel happy when the sunlight enters my room. I feel peaceful when the morning is quiet. I feel confident when I prepare well. Repeat them slowly, then say them again at a natural speed. Now let us practice with fill-in responses. Complete these sentences with your own ideas. I feel step in the morning. I feel step in the morning. I feel step in the morning. I'm enough in the ear. I feel step in the morning. I feel stressed if pinafant. Pause and answer aloud. Do not read, speak from your real experience. For example, you might say, I feel relaxed in the morning because I wake up early. Even though I feel a little nervous about work, I try to stay calm. I feel motivated when I remember my goals. That is real communication. It is honest. It is personal. Now let me explain something very important. Many learners speak English in a robotic way. They say sentences correctly, but they do not express feeling. For example, they say, I go to work, I eat breakfast, I take the bus. The sentences are correct, but they are empty. When you add emotion, your speech becomes meaningful. Instead of saying, I go to work, say, I feel motivated when I go to work because I enjoy learning new things. Instead of saying, I take the bus, say, I feel stressed when the bus is crowded, but I try to stay patient. When you speak this way, you build connection. People understand not only what you do, but who you are. Now I want you to try speaking without reading. Close your eyes for a moment. Think about this morning. How did you feel when you woke up? How did you feel during breakfast? How did you feel while commuting? Now open your eyes and speak for 30 seconds about your morning feelings. Do not look at notes. Do not try to remember perfect grammar. Speak naturally. You might say this morning I felt a little tired because I slept late. However, I tried to stay positive. After my shower, I felt refreshed and energetic. Even though I felt nervous about my meeting, I stayed calm and prepared carefully. That is strong, expressive English. It is simple, yet powerful. Remember, language becomes beautiful when it carries emotion. You do not need difficult vocabulary. You need honesty and clarity. When you say I feel, you open a door to meaningful communication. From today, do not only describe your morning actions, describe your morning feelings. That small change will transform your English from basic conversation to authentic expression. Chapter 8. Full Morning Speech. Now we come to the most important part of this journey. You have learned how to talk about waking up. You have learned how to describe your bathroom routine, your breakfast, your preparation, your commute, and even your feelings. Now it is time to integrate everything into one confident, structured morning speech. This is where all your small sentences come together and become a smooth, natural monologue. When you speak about your morning, your structure should be clear. Begin with a simple opening sentence. Then describe your sequence of actions. Talk about breakfast. Explain how you prepare for your day. Describe your commute. Share your feelings. Finally, close your speech with a confident sentence. If you follow this order, your speech will always sound organized. Let me show you a model example first. Listen carefully. Every morning, I wake up at 6 a.m. First, I turn off my alarm and stretch my arms. Then, I get out of bed and brush my teeth. After that, I wash my face and take a quick shower. Finally, I get dressed and prepare for work. For breakfast, I usually have tea and eggs because they give me energy. There is always some bread on the table, and sometimes there is fruit as well. After breakfast, I prepare my bag and check my schedule. I have to attend a meeting, so I leave home early so that I am not late. I usually take the bus, although it is sometimes crowded. During my commute, I listen to music because it helps me feel calm. In the morning, I sometimes feel a little tired, but I try to stay positive. Once I arrive at work, I feel motivated and ready to start my day. That is how my morning usually goes. Now let us practice the slow version. Repeat after me, sentence by sentence. Speak clearly. Every morning, I wake up at 6 a.m. First, I turn off my alarm and stretch my arms. Then, I brush my teeth and wash my face. After that, I take a shower. Finally, I get dressed. I usually have tea and eggs for breakfast. There is some bread on the table. I prepare my bag because I have a meeting. I take the bus to work. I feel calm in the morning. I feel motivated when I arrive at work. Now let us try the natural speed version. Speak smoothly, without stopping too much. Let the sentences connect naturally. Now I want you to pause. Take 1 minute. Think about your real morning. Use the same structure. Do not copy my example. Speak about your own life. Opening sentence. Sequence of actions. Breakfast. Preparation. Commute. Feelings. Closing sentence. Now you speak. This is your moment. Speak with confidence. Do not worry about mistakes. Focus on clarity. Before we finish, let us correct 5 common mistakes that learners often make. First mistake is forgetting the S in present simple. Some learners say, he wake up at 6. The correct sentence is, he wakes up at 6. Second mistake is using wrong verb form in the past. Some say, yesterday I wake up late. The correct sentence is, yesterday I woke up late. Third mistake is forgetting articles. Some learners say, I go to office. It is better to say, I go to the office. Fourth mistake is confusing there is and there are. Remember, there is for singular or uncountable, and there are for plural. Fifth mistake is speaking too fast without clarity. Slow down. Clear speech is more important than fast speech. Now let us talk about pronunciation. Wake up should sound smooth, not separated too strongly. It sounds like wake up. Get dressed should flow naturally, not broken. Practice saying it slowly, then naturally. Speak with calm rhythm, and do not rush your words. Let me encourage you from the heart. You started this lesson with simple sentences. Now you can deliver a full structured morning speech. That is progress. That is growth. That is confidence. Do not underestimate this achievement. Tomorrow morning, speak your full routine again. Do it daily for 1 week. After 1 week, you will notice something surprising. You will speak faster. You will think less. You will feel stronger. And at that moment you will say with pride, I can talk about my morning in English clearly and confidently. That sentence is not just practice, it is your new reality. My dear learners, today you did something powerful. You did not just learn sentences, you built confidence. You proved to yourself that English is not difficult when it is connected to your real life. Keep practicing your morning speech every day, and watch how your fluency grows naturally. Do not wait for perfection. Speak with courage, speak with clarity, and speak with heart. If this lesson helped you, keep learning with me, and together we will turn your simple English into strong, confident communication.